You're listening to a special edition of the Just Go Bike podcast. That's AKA Murph.
And that's AP. And this is the podcast where we talk about cycling just for the fun of it. With tales from all across the nation, come for the bikes, stay for the fun, and leave with a smile.
On this special edition, we are going to provide you with daily tales from the trail as we ride our bikes across the state of Iowa as a part of RAGBRAI LI.
We apologize in advance for any background noise. We'll be live each episode. Well, hello, AP.
Hey, Murph.
Do we sound tired?
No, I feel great.
I feel great too, but I do feel a little raspy in my voice, which a lot of times on RAGBRAI, by the end of the week, I'm losing my voice.
Well, there is that, but I feel good enough that we have brought some guests onto the podcast with us.
Yes, we have. We have, I hope I don't screw up your names, but Scott and Scott.
Bam!
Those Scotties.
Scott squared.
So we've got Scott Olsen, who I'm sure everyone remembers from previous episodes where we have talked to you about the same topic. And then, of course, Scott Sumpter, who people may or may not know from Bike, Iowa. Right?
You are correct.
Okay, so we're going to get through. We're going to talk about day 5, but specifically the Scotts are on to talk about their experience on gravel so far through the week. So thank you guys for coming on the podcast.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good to be here.
Okay, so day 5.
We just completed day 5 of the RAGBRAI route inspection pre-ride, and technically the route is 62.9 miles with 2,502 feet of climb from Knoxville to Ottumwa, Iowa. On day 5 of RAGBRAI, it will be I Ride for Day, which means that you can ride for your favorite cause and hopefully fundraise for that through our GoFundMe platform or our RAGBRAI Gives platform. Mm-hmm. If you'd like to learn more about that, you can look at the RAGBRAI Gives menu option on ragbrai.com.
Cool. So we started in Knoxville, like you said, ended in Ottumwa, and we had 5 pass-through towns. So we'll cover that, and then maybe when we get towards the end before Chillicothe, you guys can chime in with your gravel experience today, but then also the beginning of the week.
Yeah, great. So let's dive in. First of all, we had a quick jaunt down to Attica, Iowa. And since Attica is a little bit off the route, they're hosting all their activities at a wedding event production location. So it is right there on the side of the road. And there are photo ops galore.
Oh my gosh. We ran out of time. Andrea and I were running to the fire trucks. We're running to the limo. We're running to the old-timey car. There's a phone booth inside.
We jousted with inflatable jousting things. And I will tell you, I won.
Oh, actually, yeah, she did. If you look at the video, you see me falling down. But they're also doing, I think they're calling it beer pong, but it's in the lake.
In the lake.
So I don't really know. Did you guys hear anything about the beer pong in the lake?
Yeah, I didn't hear anything about that.
Yeah, I mean, we were there at super early in the morning, and one of the volunteers was like, who wants to get in? Let's try it. But none of us were ready to jump in the pond just yet.
The jousting was also in the lake, correct?
No, the jousting was in. Oh, maybe it
I
will
thought
be.
They were
maybe
have
it will
in
be.
The kayaks too. Maybe.
Yes.
Yep.
And yeah, there's all kinds of kayaks. It's going to be full of things to do. So that space actually comes before the town of Attica, but the specific town of Attica is an unincorporated community. Is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Okay, so that's why all of the action is going to happen at that venue. So that's exciting.
And you can't miss it.
You cannot miss it, no. Okay, so from Attica, we rode about 10 miles and ended up in Lovilia.
Yes, and Lovilia was a delightful place to stop.
And their theme is, it's coal to be here. Can you dig it? Coal, as in coal mining. Mm-hmm. And Brandy, who is the mayor, told us that it either used to be coal mining town, and I don't know if it was a joke or not, but she literally said that there is probably coal still underneath all of their homes. So I don't know if you could dig a hole in the basement and maybe find a chunk of coal and use it for anything.
Usually Santa just brings me that. I don't need to go looking for it.
But
yeah.
Brandy was awesome. She's the mayor, and she wanted to make the theme about coal. And do one of you guys want to talk about the big, huge entrance that they're going to have coming into Lovilia.
So they're making a big archway of it's going to look like you're riding through a coal mine.
Yeah.
Full over the top arch. It's really light once you see it, but it looks really cool when you come into it. It's going to be across the whole road, so you like, go through a good photo op. It's going to be cool.
It is
Yeah.
cool. Yep.
Small little town too.
Yeah.
Yep. And also, there was the nicest lady named Sheila that came up to say hi to us, and she's going to be cheering us on from her home, which is right on the way in. So if you see an elderly lady sitting on her front porch, it's Sheila, and she had a license plate that said Hawk, either Hawk Mom or Hawk Fan. So go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks. Ooh. That was out of one of the Scots that wouldn't normally say that. We went to the North End Tap. I'd also like to say shout out to the North End Tap. They were an excellent establishment. They had kebabs galore.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Corey was the owner, and he is pretty fired up. I think he's done major events before, so he's ready.
Yeah.
What did we have? We had corn. No,
Carrots on a stick.
Carrots on a stick.
They were smothered in butter and brown sugar.
Brown sugar.
Oh my gosh.
I'm going to be dreaming about that later.
And pulled pork nachos.
Yes.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the food was extremely good.
Nobody
And then
left
they-
there hungry.
Also had fruit kebabs as well.
That's right.
Yeah, and fruit, but
Yeah, for the healthy side of things. Right, yes. Okay, from there we went to the meat town, which is Albia. And that was less than 10 miles to get there.
like to say shout out to Louise on the Lake, who provided our lunch in Albia. It was delicious. And Albia has all sorts of cool things that we were able to tour. Murph and I did like a blitz of a tour.
Yes, we
of
did.
downtown Albia. And I would recommend that you spend a little bit more time just enjoying Albia.
And a lot of the townspeople are going to be dressed in Victorian garb. And they have an event in December, I believe. Maybe we can put notes in our show notes about when that is. But it's some sort of, they do it often where they dress in Victorian themed outfits. But we went to the museum and they had one of the tall penny farthings, which
Yeah,
I wish
it was
we
cool.
could have tried out, but we didn't have time.
We didn't have time. They said if you go into the Monroe County Historical Society Museum, then you have to ring the church bell. So that's what we spend our time doing. is
Yes,
ringing
that's
that bell.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. And they had a little schoolhouse, which had AP laughed about this, but they had very tiny desks on the right, and the desks got bigger, and then all the desks on the left were much adult size. But it was because it was a one-room schoolhouse for age kindergarten to
8th grade.
high school or 8th grade. Yeah.
Yep.
So you can guess which side of the room that I sampled.
Yeah, the joke is that Murph got the tiny desk and I got the taller desk because I'm much taller.
They also have a bank that was like 4 buildings that were all turned into one bank, and everything, all the furniture in there is, nothing's been reproduced, and it's all Victorian style as well. So Catherine gave us a tour, and she said that she's going to be giving tours the day of RAGBRAI. So make sure you
Cool.
find the bank, in the downtown area.
And they had that cool patio out back with like the ivy
that's
on the
right.
walls.
Ivy and flowers and
Yeah.
everything. So it was a really cool space. So make sure that you take time in Albia.
I think every one of us wished we would have had a chance to take a nap on the town square. It's a beautiful town
Yes.
square. And I'd also like to give a shout out to the cheerleaders of Albia High School because they greeted us up as we arrived and then they taught us some tricks, which was pretty neat.
Yes, nobody was hurt.
Nobody
right?
was hurt.
No, they were awesome. They were awesome.
A
yeah.
couple of our riders went in the air. I mean,
Yep.
this never happened before.
And
Dale kept his helmet on.
I think the most important fun fact about Albia is there is a bar called Murph's Tavern.
Oh, sure. And we went there first.
Well, we went there, but they weren't open. But we definitely got some photos.
Yes. The other most important fun fact is that they're home to the Welcome Home Soldier Memorial, which is a unique memorial that we learned about today, in which they have a lot of flags and statues and monuments to people who have served in the previous wars and just to soldiers in general. And it was really moving and it was really impactful. And it is a little bit out of town, but they will be running shuttles every 15 minutes from the town square to this memorial. And it is worth checking out.
It is. It's over 7 acres. So it's kind of a walking tour. They had, I'm going to forget the number of flags. It was over.
I have it written down.
I thought it was 110 is what I counted.
They had at least all 50 state flags and 100 U.S. flags, and then maybe additional flags beyond that.
Yeah, it was amazing. Amazing. And also, I am not familiar with Governor Kendall, but it is also the birthplace of Governor Kendall. And Governor Kendall is actually buried right there with a bench over his space.
Not at the memorial, at the library.
I'm sorry, at the library.
Yes.
In the town.
We saw a grave today.
Yes, we did.
Yes, we did.
No ghosts, though. I don't think.
So can I say one more thing about as a veteran? I mean, spend some time, take that shuttle, go down to that memorial. They've got Humble, Hero, Hill, the Korean War, Vietnam War. It is so cool. The guy said we would be blown away by it, and I was like, all right, whatever.
Yeah.
But you walk out there and you're like, wow.
Truly.
It is a gem in our state.
It's a really special thing for the veterans and those who were killed in wars and anyone who cares about, the troops.
Take the shuttle out.
Yeah.
Yes, and they are fine-tuning those details on, if there's going to be a bike corral. So don't worry about those sorts of things. Just make sure that you try and take some time to do it. Okay, next up is Eddyville, and I think that was a 15-mile stretch.
I think this is an appropriate time to admit that we had to sag between Albia and Eddyville because there was heavy truck traffic today.
Yes.
Unfortunately, on the pre-ride, we don't get as many privileges as we do on RAGBRAI.
Yep.
But that's the way it is. We're trying to be good partners in their communities, and they would have to stop a lot of commerce for us in order to stop the trucks, and we don't want to go there for this. So on the day of RAGBRAI, all the corn haulers that would have been going through that
Cargill
area will be paused, so we won't have to compete with them for the road space, which is actually a huge sacrifice for them to be making. I mean, monetarily,
Right,
because that's a whole day worth of corn that they're not going to be receiving in their plant. So thank you to them for doing that for us. And today we were happy. I mean, despite having massive tailwinds, we were happy to take one for the team because we want to be good partners of the towns.
Yes. So in Eddyville, we went to, I think it was called the Welcome Inn Bar and Grill. At least I did. And talked to Nettie. She's the owner there. And she's going to have a beer garden right out front and a fun band from noon to 3. So
And they're a Hawkeye bar.
yes,
So,
they are a
yeah.
Hawkeye bar. Yeah. The band is called the Monday Dukes. And she said that they have played at the State Fair before.
Oh. So Eddyville will also have Beekman's on this day. Obviously, they have the 2 bars, and they'll have multiple vendors, so they'll be a great place to stop.
So guys, it was right before Chillicothe that you guys hit some gravel. Do you want to give us maybe just a high level of your experience today with gravel?
Yeah, so today's section was about 5 miles. So right as soon as we got off the highway, it was probably about a mile downhill. There's train tracks at the bottom. We actually got to see a train go by. It wasn't very long. I don't even think we stopped. The gravel it's pretty hard pack. There was some chunks here and there, but it wasn't too bad. And there was probably three good hills. I can't remember, Scott. What'd you say the highest grade was?
I think like between 8 and 9% grade was on at least one of them. I mean, it made you work a little bit.
Yeah.
So I mentioned yesterday when we kind of did just a 30-second gravel recap, we were talking about level B roads, and we were just telling listeners that level B is either minimal maintenance or no maintenance at all. But you experienced level B roads, right, within the last couple of days?
Yeah. Yes. Excuse me. Yesterday we had 3 level Bs, and it kind of varies by county how much maintenance those roads get. I think the true level B that we hit yesterday was in Madison County, I believe.
I believe so as well. Yep.
And it was pretty rutted, had a good hill in there. If you're into that sort of thing, it's super awesome. There's trees over it, so it's pretty shaded. So you get a nice climb, and then you get a pretty kick butt downhill on the other side as well.
It is a true sense of Iowa gravel. I mean, I feel in the past years we've had some pretty pristine gravel. It's like, okay, that's some gravel, but this is curvy, this is hilly. Like Scott said, it's rutted out here and there. You just kind of got to watch what you're doing, but enjoy it, embrace it. I mean, it was a cool route yesterday. Today as well.
Of all the routes that you've done so far, and this is only day 5, which day, if you were a beginner gravel rider, which day would be the best one to try? And I didn't tell them that I was going to ask this question beforehand, so I've kind of surprised them with it. So give them a second to decide.
I think day 2 and day 3 both had, I don't want to say easy, because I think all of the gravel down south has some pretty killer hills, and they're epic. The views out there are amazing. But so far, I feel like all of the gravel itself has been hard pack. We had Laura who rode with us. I think she was on 28s.
Yep, 28s.
And she had no problem going through everything.
And 28 refers to the wheel size.
Yes.
Wheel size.
28 millimeter.
You got
tires.
38s.
I have 35s.
I got 35s. I got 44s. So I was the thickest on there. But yeah, we had maybe 6 of us rode.
Yep.
Most of every section. And
Yeah.
we had no issues. I mean, able to see everything. Nobody got any flats. I mean, definitely navigable everywhere.
Yeah.
Couple farms with dogs, but they didn't really come out in the yard. You could just hear them barking.
And I think the first section out of Winterset, where you go through the covered bridge, that gravel itself is I don't want to say easy, but it's so beautiful out there. You have a big sweeping downhill leading into that covered bridge. And then you get to check out the covered bridge. And then, of course, you get to climb out of the valley there. And I think that section is 3.5 miles, so it's not too bad.
There's a little morning fog there, too, wasn't
Yeah.
there, when we were coming up out of that valley? It was a very, very neat section. And
Yes.
curvy roads. It's fun.
It's epic, yeah.
So the nice thing about having all these gravel options is if you want to dabble a little bit, experiment, or if you are a hardcore gravel rider, you're going to experience a whole different side of Iowa than the regular route, which the regular route is still
Awesome.
beautiful.
Yeah.
So beautiful.
Yeah. And I would say, of course, I asked that question, and I would encourage you, if you are a new gravel rider, do a little research and make sure that your bike is appropriate for gravel. Make sure that you educate yourself a little bit on some of the rules of the road as far as riding gravel before you just jump right in, because you want to be safe out there. So I just want to add that.
And all the gravel routes sections are short enough. If it's too much for you, just slow down. If you can't ride up a hill, get off and walk over the crest. You're not out there all day. You're going to get right back on and
Yeah.
before the next town or the next pavement section. So
Yeah.
it's a good test.
Okay, cool. Well, should we go on to Chillicothe?
Yes, and we did. And it was a beautiful ride in there, and hop, skip, and a jump from Eddyville. And we had a break in a nice little park there.
Yes, we did. They had a swing set that I tried to do my, backflip that I used to do when I was 9.
On the swings?
Yeah, and
Yeah? How'd that go?
I panicked, so I did jump off though, like you did when you were a kid. So,
Well, I wish I would have noticed that, because I would have filmed it.
well, no, I wouldn't. No, you wouldn't have.
So I'm not sure if they're having a lot of plans in Chillicothe, but I would totally stop in the park on your way into Ottumwa, because it's just a nice way to refresh yourself before you head in.
Yes. And then I think my favorite part of the day, was that flat section into Albia. And then my second favorite was coming into Ottumwa, because it was like, I think Matt jokingly said that he's never seen so many signs that have arrows, to make sure that vehicles don't go too fast around sharp corners. But it was just like S after S after S curve. I loved it.
I believe our fellow rider Dale said that they were called windy rollies, so that's what we were doing.
Valid.
And then the SAG driver Kaz said that it was a oak savanna, because there are a lot of trees around. So, the truth falls somewhere in the middle there, I think.
And it's not often where you get treed sections on both sides. You're always able to see over the horizon. And this section into Ottumwa was treed on both sides, and it was just windy. And there are some uphills. There's one grinder that'll get you, but the rest are kind of rolly and some tight curves. And just enjoy it.
Yeah.
I think today was the first day, as far as elevation, that I saw over 10% grade, but it was for like feet rather than minutes. It was very short.
Yes.
Yeah, it's funny because when we were in Chillicothe, I told Matt that, my favorite 10 or 11 climbs were all on gravel. And then we had that section going into Ottumwa, and it was super fun. We had a little tailwind, but
Yeah.
I think riders are going to love that section.
Yeah, it's fun. And by this point in the ride, you'll be well conditioned enough to handle those hills. It's no problem.
Yeah, I agree.
And in fact, Ottumwa is called the city on the hill. But I have a feeling you're going to find out what they mean on your way out of town.
Oh, wait a minute. That
Oh,
means tomorrow?
Spoiler alert.
We're not there yet.
Yep.
Last hill.
So today's gravel route was 4.7 miles, and this says 219 feet of climb. Does that sound about right, guys?
Yeah, I think that sounds pretty close.
Okay.
Couple hills, 3 hills maybe?
Yep.
Three.
Yep. Yeah, there's a one. Yeah, you kind of crest it, and then you go up a little bit more, and
Okay.
yeah, good
Good.
views, great views.
Some cows.
Yeah. Yes.
We saw some baby donkeys today, too. Of course, I don't remember where. I'm sorry. But
It was extremely cute.
yes.
Of course, this is the baby animal time of year. So maybe on RAGBRAI you'll see some adult donkeys.
Yes, you're right. Well, I think that's a wrap for today. Thank you guys for taking the time. We are on our way to dinner in Ottumwa here, so we are going to sign off, and we'll be back tomorrow, right, AP?
Can't wait to fill you in on day 6 of the route inspection pre-ride.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Well, listeners, that's it for today. We both want to thank you for tuning in to listen to this special edition of the Just Go Bike podcast.
And if you would like to contact us with a comment about the podcast, or maybe you have a topic in mind, you can reach us at Just Go Bike on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
You can also find us this year on Ride with GPS.
That's right. We'll be live logging the entire route inspection pre-ride with our Wahoo bike computers, then sending the data over to Ride with GPS, and you can find us online.
Please rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast, especially if you're a fan.
All right, that's a wrap, and we'll be back soon. Until then, just go bike!